we're going to talk about scripting and adding production cues. So if you're a reporter, you will look for the running order here, and let's say we're going to open hold UTA News 01/21/16. Close that. And whenever you're creating your own story, you can actually look for empty lines, or you can simply create your own story. By that, remember, you go to create story and you click on broadcast. You can also press Control I, and that's going to create an insert. It's going to create a bunch of stories. So whenever you create these stories, you take one that is empty and you make it yours. So let's say we're going to call this one Julian parking, or well, let's change the topic, auditorium, and the date. So we're going to make it 01/25/2016. Actually, it's going to be 16 numbers. So 01/25/16. The same thing, and we can expand this just to make sure that we can see better our name. We're going to call another one. So we're going to call 3 lines if we're producing a package. Auditorium 01/25/16, and then Julian Auditorium 01/25/16. Perfect. So if this is a package, we're going to certainly just create some basic scripting. For the time being, this is going to be the intro, this is going to be our PKG, and this is going to be our tag. The rest, this will be filled by the producer. The producer has to decide who's going to be reading what at what point in time. But if you are the reporter, then you will go directly into your intro, and you will give some sort of basic cue. Let's say anchor number 1 on camera number 1. So it should always be anchor 1, camera number 1, and then the producer will go back and change those accordingly. You will write the intro here. Let's say that intro is 5 or 10 seconds long, depending on how much time you have. You save this and then you close it. So whenever it would change to red, of course, because it needs to be approved, but whenever we enter your story, we should be able to see who's going to be reading what camera. Now again, this can be changed by the producer. So when we go into the body of the package, it means that the first cue that we need to include is take package. After that, you will write in there the entire script of your package. So you start with, let's imagine you start with voiceover, and you start your story here. At some point, you will get to a soundbite. When you include a soundbite in your package, you will always give us a cue for that graphic. So take CG will be the one you will be using. Let's imagine I am the one who's giving you the soundbite, and my last name is Smith. So it's going to be Julian Smith, and I am lecturer in the Department of Communication. Once I do that, then I keep going, and the soundbite, use quotation marks, you write here what Julian says. After the soundbite is done, then we will continue with voiceover, and that's reporter voiceover, and you continue your story here. If you're going to add another lower third or soundbite, then you have to identify, take CG, and this is going to be John Smith. And John Smith is student of aeronautical engineering. Then quotes, and then John's words go here. Once you're done, you will continue your voiceover, and just, continue narration and end the story. The last thing you want to include in your package is your sign off. So if Anna, I don't know, Anna Ramirez was reporting this, we'll say Anna Ramirez, UTA News. That's it. And then you end your package. Now all of this is going to appear on the teleprompter, but because you want to make sure that the teleprompter marks these as the sound that's coming from the package, you have to highlight it and click on the SOT icon. That's going to make everything green, and it's going to be grayed out on the teleprompter when we're teleprompting. Now let's imagine that this entire story, by the way, you can make this bigger if you want, or you can double click here and it's going to occupy the entire page. By the way, let's imagine this is 1 minute and 45 seconds, and your stories should never be longer than 1 minute and 30. So try to keep it within that range. Let's imagine this is 1 minute and 30 seconds. You have to physically add the length of this story by going directly to media time. So again, if we're working on this and we go into media time, and let's say this package is 1 minute and 31 seconds, then you have to physically add it to the rundown. Do not forget to do this. Unlike this, whenever you type on the intro, for instance, which will be read by the anchor, then everything you type here will be timed by Inception and added automatically into this area here. So whenever we're typing, you will see total time or you see estimated time. So let's imagine I type this, and the moment I click save, you will see this number changing. So save, and now it's 7 seconds long. It also shows 7 seconds here. So that is something that is different when you're doing a package. When you're doing, for example, a soundbite, if you're going to have only an SOT, you have to physically highlight this and you have to physically enter the total running time of that package. Once we're done with this, let's say yes, we're going to save that and we're going to close this, and we're going to write now our tag. So if I go in here and I'm writing the tag, I would say, okay, again, anchor number 1, and it's going to be on camera number 1, and that should be always your default, and then you write your tag here. One more time, everything that I write here will be estimated down here. So if I continue writing here, then it will time it for me. See, it continues to time. When I save here, this number, let me look for it, this number should change to 5 seconds. So save, and there it is. Once you have done that, then you're pretty much done. So that's basically scripting. If you have a graphic, you have to include that directly in your script by simply looking for the production cue. Do not forget to highlight your script whenever it is a package and clicking on the SOT, as it means that this sound is coming from your package and it's not something that needs to be read by any of our anchors.